স্যার আমরা শুরু করব স্যার আপনার ইয়েটা মাইক্রোফোনটা স্যার একটু ইয়ে করে রাখেন স্যার মিউট করে রাখেন শাহাবুদ্দিন স্যার
আচ্ছা
স্যার Your Excellency Naoki Ito, the Ambassador of Japan to the People's Republic of Bangladesh, Dr. Ahmed Kaikaus, respected Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Your Excellency Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed, the Ambassador of Bangladesh to Japan, Mr. Sirajul Islam, respected Executive Chairman of Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Bida, Mr. Pawan Chaudhary, respected Executive Chairman of Bangladesh Economic Zone Authority, Beza, Mr. Yuho Hayakawa, Chief Representative, Bangladesh Office of Japan International Cooperation Agency, Mr. Yuji Ando, Country Representative of Japan External Trade Organization, Bangladesh, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar jointly organized by Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, Bida, Bangladesh Economic Zone Authority, Beza, and Embassy of Bangladesh in Japan. This webinar is also co-organized by Japan External Trade Organization, Jetro, and Japan International Cooperation Agency, Jica. On behalf of these joint organizers, I would like to thank both institutions for their support. This webinar is composed of two parts. In first 2 hours, we have 6 presentations. This part is a traditional one-way information provision session. We have another 1 hour after the presentations, which is one-to-one discussion session with the government officials and the presenters for those who already requested that session. I will guide to the participants of one-to-one session to the different websites at the end of the first part. Before starting the seminar, I would like to make a couple of announcements. First, there are some changes on the program. Our respected Principal Secretary will make an opening remark after His Excellency Mr. Ito, the Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh. Second, today's seminar will be recorded and subject to the agreement with the presenters, video will be made available online after the webinar. Third, if you have any questions after hearing the presentations, please submit your questions by using chat function of the webinar platform. We will not be able to answer those questions during the webinar. So in submitting your question, please write your name and company's name. The organizer will answer those questions by email. Fourth, you can use the interpreter function during the webinar. When you click interpretation, you will see art mark. If you want to listen in Japanese, please select Japanese. If you want to listen original voice of the speaker, please choose off button. Fifth, please do not take screenshots of the presentations. This will be posted later once we get the agreement of disclosure from the presenter. Lastly, I would like to ask each presenter to keep their allocated time. This is very important to secure the smooth transfer to the one-to-one session immediately after the webinar. Now, I would like to invite Your Excellency Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Bangladesh to Japan, to address his opening remarks.
His Excellency Ambassador of Japan to Bangladesh, Mr. Ito Naoki, respected Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Ahmed Kaikaus, respected Executive Chairman Bida, Mr. Sirajul Islam, respected Executive Chairman Beza, Mr. Pawan Chaudhary, Chief Country Representative Jica Bangladesh, Mr. Hayakawa Yuho, Country Representative Jetro Bangladesh, Mr. Yuji Ando, speakers and presenters from Bida, Beza, Japanese companies, distinguished guests, and participants from Japanese companies and investors. Very good afternoon and konnichiwa from Tokyo, Japan. I am very much delighted to welcome you all to this seminar, and I especially express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude that you have showed your interest and joined this program to explore business and investment opportunities in Bangladesh. Japan is Bangladesh's trusted and time-tested friend since our independence and single largest development partner. Japan's name comes first as our friend when we talk about Bangladesh's development. It has been only 5 months since I joined here. Despite COVID-19, I have met top representatives of major Japanese companies and investors who are operating businesses in Bangladesh. I am happy to know from them they are very optimistic of doing and expanding their business in Bangladesh. We get updates from the Japanese companies and investors, and they have a close contact with our commercial wing. We have also very close contact with important entities like Ministry of Foreign Affairs Japan, METI, JICA, and Jetro, and we get their continuous support to facilitate bilateral trade and investment. From the embassy, we are ready to provide all sorts of possible supports to the Japanese businessmen and investors doing business with Bangladesh. Japan is Bangladesh's #1 export destination in Asia and 5th source country of import. Bilateral trade is around $3 billion US dollar. We are very encouraged to see the increasing interest and enthusiasm of Japanese entrepreneurs about business in and investment opportunities in Bangladesh. We are happy that currently over 315 Japanese firms are operating in Bangladesh, which is an increase of more than 10 times over the last decade. Different surveys conducted by Japanese institutions such as Jetro, JBIC reveal that the confidence of Japanese affiliated firms in doing businesses in Bangladesh is improving. Despite COVID-19, we have been trying best to facilitate bilateral trade and investment. During last couple of months, we organized a number of virtual and physical events to promote business and investment. We organized a virtual conference on trade and investment facilitation with the participation of important Japanese entities like Ministry of Foreign Affairs, METI, Ministry of Education, Trade and Industry, JICA, Jetro, JBCCI in June 2020. As you know that ICT sector is one of the fastest growing industry in Bangladesh, where Japanese IT companies can take opportunity to invest. We organized the Japan-Bangladesh ICT webinar 2020 in the month of August with the participation of more than 100 Japanese IT companies. In last December, we organized a physical seminar on trade, investment, and skilled human resources in Yokohama City with participation of around 100 prospective Japanese investors. Last week, on 26 January, we organized a follow-up Japan-Bangladesh IT online B2B matchmaking event, which was inaugurated by our Honorable State Minister for ICT, Mr. Junaid Ahmad Polok MP, and His Excellency Ambassador Ito Naoki, JICA Chief Country Representative Mr. Hayakawa, Jetro Country Representative Mr. Ando were also present, and they contributed a lot. We will keep organizing many more events on trade and investment in the coming days. Bangladesh offers competitive fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. There are many potential sectors such as agribusiness, garments and textile, leather goods, electric, plastic, ICT, light engineering, ceramics, medical equipment, healthcare, shipbuilding, power sector, etc. I will not go on details. I request to listen the presentations by Bida, Beza, and Japanese companies to get the real picture of investment. The middle income group of Bangladesh is also expanding at a significant speed, which is creating an opportunity for investors to explore new areas of investments such as automobile manufacturing. Government of Japan has been helping Bangladesh through JICA to achieve the next level of development with the completion of several mega projects and linking such infrastructure's development to the economic growth. Bangladesh is located in a strategically very important location, and Jica is supporting to further strengthen the connectivity in the region, as we see in the integrated development of Moeshkali Matarbari area, where there is a large presence and involvement of Japanese companies. It will be the hub of logistics, power, energy, and waterfront industry. Government of Bangladesh is also working sincerely to create an appropriate environment for FDI. The Japanese government is also actively engaged to develop Japanese economic zone in Araihajar. Moreover, Bangladesh has been developing 100 special economic zones in different parts of Bangladesh where Japanese investors can invest. I request the Japanese companies to take the opportunity of doing business and in Bangladesh and investing in Bangladesh. Finally, I express my gratitude to Jica, Jetro, Bida, Beza to make this seminar significant and successful. The presence and support of the major Japanese companies today is very reassuring to us. It tells us that you are considering Bangladesh as an important destination for business and investment. I thank you all for your kind attention. Domo arigata gozaimashite. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now I would like to invite Your Excellency, Mr. Naoki Ito, the Ambassador of Japan to the People's Republic of Bangladesh, to address his opening remarks.
His Excellency Ambassador Shahabuddin Ahmad, Principal Secretary of Ahmad Kaikaus, Executive Chairman of Bida, Mr. Shirazul Islam, Executive Chairman of Beza, Mr. Pavan Chaudhuri, JICA の早川所長、Jetro の安藤所長、ご講演いただく日本、バングラデシュ双方の方々、ご参加の日本企業の皆様、アッサラムアライクン、グッドアフタヌーン、こんにちは。本日は誠にありがとうございます。バングラデシュは3月に独立50周年を迎えます。日本とバングラデシュの関係は、バングラデシュの独立以来、一貫して極めて良好な友好協力関係にあります。そして、この10年、バングラデシュの急速な経済成長とともに、日本とバングラデシュの経済パートナーシップの発展の重要性ということが高まっております。本日、このような形で、日本企業の皆様のバングラデシュへの投資、そしてバングラデシュにおける事業展開を促進する試みをやっていただいていることを誠に嬉しく存じております。バングラデシュ大使館、投資開発庁 Bida、経済特区庁 Beza のイニシアティブに感謝と敬意を表したいと思います。本日は非常に多くの日本企業の方にご参加をいただいており、改めて皆様の関心の高さを感じておるところでございます。時間の制約もございますので、3つお話をさせていただきます。1つはコロナウイルスの感染の状況、そして経済の好転の兆しということでございます。昨日のバングラデシュにおける新規の検査の数は443名、陽性率は 3.6% ということで、新年になりまして、数字がかなり減ってきている、下がってきている、収束に向かいつつあるような傾向が見られるということでございます。もちろんまだまだ感染のリスクはございますので、用心をする対策に万全を期する必要はありますけれども、感染者数が減少してきている、そういう中で1月の27日にはワクチンの接種も開始をされた。そして橋名首相もですね、家の出席ということをはじめ、学校も再開をする見通しが 出てきているということでございます。財務大臣ご自身も経済は回復の途上にある底を打ったという認識を示しておられますし、12月に打ち出された今年度からの5カ年計画でもですね、8% 台の成長の継続、そして2025年度には 8.51% の成長という見通しが立てられています。コロナの状況ございましたけれども、2020年代、バングラデシュがアジアにおいて最速の成長する経済ということは疑いのないことというふうに考えております。2つ目はバングラデシュが変わりつつある、変化しつつあるということでございます。特に申し上げたいのはインフラの整備ということです。従来、インフラがバングラデシュの成長、あるいはボトルネックということが言われていたことがございましたけれども、非常に近年、バングラデシュ政府も力を入れており、また外国政府援助機関、そして国際機関もインフラの整備に協力をしてきております。この向こう4、5年で非常に大きくバングラデシュのインフラが整備され、いわばバングラデシュの顔が変わる、そういう状況にございます。そしてその多くの事業について、日本 JICA が民間企業の参画を得て進めております。ダッカのメトロ地下鉄、あるいは空港のターミナル、そしてマタバリという場所の港、これはバングラデシュで初めての新開港でございます。そして工業団地の建設も進んでいるところでございます。日曜日にマタバリを訪問いたしましたけれども、コロナの影響はありますが、極めて順調に進んでおります。2024年には新開港火力発電所がオープンをし、非常にインパクトのある事業という形になると思われます。また、アライハザールについては、今日この後ご発表いただきますけれども、私はBida Beza政府のご協力をいただいて、アジアでベストの日本企業の経済特区にしていただきたいというお願いをしております。100社10億ドルの投資ということを期待を込めて、いろんなところでアライハザールの工業団地については申し上げているところでございます。IT についてもご発表がありますけれども、JICA による人材育成も大変成功しております。バングラデシュ自体が IT 人材の質の高い人々を輩出をしておりますし、また外国育ち、外国帰りのバングラデシュのエンジニアたちが起業をし、事業に参画をし、新しい企業の文化というものがバングラデシュで芽生えているように感じております。3つ目は、コロナ禍ではありましたけれども、投資の環境についての改善が進んでいるというお話でございます。規制の緩和、税の問題、外国送金の問題、これらは昨年8月、両首脳が電話会談をしたときに、当時の安倍総理からも取り上げていただいています。橋名首相からは、その場で改善に向けた努力という話をしていただき、すぐに政府の中で指示を出されております。それを本日もご出席の会カウス次官が、大変な努力をされて、いろいろな役所との調整をされて、具体的な進展がこの6ヶ月間でございました。それは例えば、日本企業からの親子ローンの話ですとか、あるいはコンテナの使用のルールの改善、あるいは自動二輪オートバイの登録料の引き下げ等々ということでございます。まだまだ課題はございます。電子送金の話、LC 決済の話、あるいは縫製業の輸出のインセンティブ、通関のお話、まだまだ課題はございます。しかし大事なことは、日本企業の課題に対して、日本企業の投資を期待をし、日本企業に大変厚い信頼を寄せるバングラデシュの政府が、この半年、懸命になって投資環境の改善に努力をしてくれていて、そして成果が出ているということでございます。私はバングラデシュに参りましたのは一昨年10月ですけども、 日本を出る前に、Jetro の佐々木理事長から、今いる企業を大切にしてもらえ、今いる企業の課題を解決してもらえ、そうしないと、その先日本からの投資は来ないということをしっかり伝えてくださいということをご指示をいただき、それをことあるごとに強調しておりますが、バングラデシュ側からですね、それに向けて対応する、そういう流れが出てきておるところでございます。バングラデシュの政府からは、日本との2国間の FTA の共同研究ということのご提案もいただいております。ぜひ、日本の企業の方々のご賛同を得て、この共同研究の早期立ち上げということにも進めていきたいというふうに考えております。今年はバングラデシュの独立50年、来年は日本とバングラデシュの外交関係50年でございます。両国の関係をさらにそうしたおめでたい年を契機として発展をさせていきたいというふうに考えております。日本企業の方々がバングラデシュの投資機会ということをさらによりよくご理解をいただいて、具体的なご関心につなげていただくことを期待をしております。投資開発庁、あるいはJetroとの相談会ということも十二分にご活用いただければと思います。以上で私の挨拶を終わりたいと思います。本日はお招きに預かりましてありがとうございました。セミナーの成功を心よりお願い申し上げます。どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Before inviting the next speaker, I would like to request all presenters, please put your microphone on mute while you are not speaking. So now I would like to invite Dr. Ahmed Kaikos, respected Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, for his welcoming remarks.
Thank you. Just a second. Well, Ohayo gozaimasu. I think, what is the time in Japan? I don't know. It's maybe konnichiwa, konbanwa, and good morning in Bangladesh, and Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I think having a wonderful time here in Bangladesh, as also in Tokyo and other parts of Japan. His Excellency Mr. Ito Naoki, ex-ambassador of Japan in Bangladesh, His Excellency Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed, ambassador of Bangladesh in Japan, and Mr. Shahid Islam, Executive Chairman Bida, and I see Executive Chairman Beza, and all the dignitaries. It's a wonderful opportunity to meet you over the webinar. I see in very small icons. I wish we could see each other physically. However, this has given us a new opportunity of hope. Even if we cannot meet, we cannot touch each other, but we can still do our work. We can exchange our views and ideas through which we can move forward, we can grow together. I was thinking about the history of, I think I have mentioned this before, but I would keep on continuing to mention this history of Japan. Japan has always been very innovative in technology. You will find that, you see, the one of the most sophisticated technology in the world so far is weapons. Japan has the history of making weapons for a very long time, and you have always been pioneers in the sector of knowledge. you have always been pioneer in consumer items. I don't think in the world you will find anyone who is not a fan of Japanese products, be it a car, be it a stereo set, be it even a telephone set. We always wanted to have a Panasonic or Hitachi telephone set, which we think that is going to work better, look better, and also have a duration longer than anyone. So with that country, and not only that, Japan has always been the kindest partner in the history of Bangladesh. We have always enjoyed extraordinary support from Japan, the Japanese government and Jica, and also I think we had an excellent relationship in terms of culture. We have been interacting with the Japanese society, which I was also a beneficiary. I went to a youth program in 1996, where I had the opportunity to live with a family for 3 days. And I knew that although you speak a language which I don't understand, you look different from me because you are yellow or white and I'm black, but our mind is same. Our feelings are same. Our cherishment of cherishing the values are same. You have an excellent ethic, work ethic. I think it is needless to mention, in the world, everybody understands that when you are dealing with someone from Japan, you don't have to worry about transparency, integrity. So that is the sort of like the basket you bring. So now, why are we here? I believe we have so many things to do. We have to roll up our sleeves and start doing work. And I think if we can continue, this is not only win for Bangladesh, this is also a win for Japan. As you know, I am a student of economics. So we live in a market-based world. So if you want to grow constantly, then you have to expand your markets. And Bangladesh is becoming a good market because the income level of Bangladesh is increasing. And Bangladesh has proved to be something which is unimaginable, I think 50 or 100 years ago, because this is a land with so many rivers, always facing with flood, drought, cyclone, and you won't find 1,000 years of very strong buildings, and our technological base or knowledge was not great. However, after the independence, Bangladesh has proved that this country can also grow. This country can also move. And this country can move even faster than others when you give the opportunity. So the concept of giving like equal opportunity, not only from it prevails in the individual level, I think this prevails in the national level. When Bangladesh got this opportunity of surviving and making decision of its own, and also support, excellent support from the development partners such as Jica and others, we have proved that we can do it better and we can move faster. So with this, you see the market or the economy is always dependent on individuals. It is not always the size of the country. Now, I give you one example. Russia is 115 times bigger than Bangladesh. Now, if you want to sell something in Russia, then you have to sell, the market is smaller than, in fact, Bangladesh, because the population of Russia is less than Bangladesh. So if the income level of every individual in Russia is, say, $20,000 or $40,000, then they have the ability to buy more. But in totality, it is not going to be much because the population is less. On the other hand, with half or half of the income in Bangladesh, that the market can size even be bigger, although the size of the land is smaller. So there are so many dynamics which prevails now in Bangladesh, and in technological front, as you can see, we have been doing this webinar, and there is no interruption so far I see. So Bangladesh has been able to develop an infrastructure which is equivalent to the world class. And so in ICT or in the fourth industrial revolution, we can go together, because in fourth industrial revolution, we can actually leapfrog many things which was needed before. So I think we are in a historical point of new beginning, new era, and we always talk to each other. And Ambassador Ito Naoki is quite, what should I say, diligent and very keeps a follow-up of everything. I think with his leadership, the relationship would grow faster. Unfortunately, we were supposed to meet physically, which is not happening as of now. But let us try to do something that we can overcome the limitations of this COVID-19, which has created on our life. So I think it's been a great opportunity for me to see, because I see that there are 210 participants. So I can assure from the government that all of you are in our heart, and all of you are very much welcome to come here and also participate in our journey of growth. And I think we have proven that we can be a good partner. We can be of help to each other. So it is not only providing support from Japan. It is now the time is that, there was a history. You see, Japan has always been the greatest development partner of Bangladesh in terms of amount. Not taking the interest, so it's like making it grants. But I think that phase is over. We should also be ready to, be partners in strength, partners in weakness, and partners in the global development that we need to do for us. So thank you very much. Ohayo gozaimashita. I think I wish everybody have a good day, and thanks for inviting me again. Sorry for I think a bit I said a bit longer, but I could not resist my emotions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your excellent speech. Now I turn to the presentation part. I will request Mr. Shah Mahbub, Director of Registration and Incentives, Foreign Industry of Bida, to make his presentation. Mr. Mahabub, please.
Dear moderator, can you see my screen, the presentation?
We can see. Please proceed on.
Okay. Thank you indeed, dear moderator, for giving me the opportunities to speak in front of this August gathering. Respected Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister, respected Executive Chairman of Bida, respected Executive Chairman of Beza, His Excellency Ambassador of Japan in Bangladesh, His Excellency Ambassador of Bangladesh in Japan, Chief Representative of Jica Bangladesh Office, representatives of various agencies, investors, dignitaries, and guests from Japan and Bangladesh, a very good morning to you. Ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Shah Mahabub, and I work as the Director of Foreign Industries in Bida. Aside my professional responsibilities, I should say that Japan is very close to my heart since I have studied in Meiji University in Tokyo for almost 3 years. So it is thus a happy moment for me to speak before the investors of Japan. Today, through this 15 minutes of presentation, I'll try to provide you with a general idea about the investment climate in Bangladesh. To start with, it's an encouraging fact that Bangladesh is considered as an attractive investment destination by many of the investors, independent think tanks, as well as analysts. We can talk about many, but more recently, Japan Bank for International Cooperation, or JBIC, they have ranked Bangladesh as the 13th prospective country in the world in 2020, and that is a graduation from the previous position of 21. That's a good accolade indeed for Bangladesh. Now, those appreciative figures, they're also reflective of the FDI performance of Bangladesh. FDI inflow in Bangladesh has increased steadily through the last decade, as you can see in the graph. Net FDI has grown from $1.2 billion in 2012 to $3.6 billion in 2018, meaning 3 times growth in 6 years. Then, of course, came the COVID-19 pandemic and FDI started to decline a bit, but we're confident that once the pandemic is over, it will rise again to newer heights. Regarding sources of FDI stock in Bangladesh, as you can see in the right graph, USA and UK top the list until now, and Japan is the 11th source of FDI for Bangladesh. We're looking forward very much to see Japan entering the list of top 10 FDI source for Bangladesh very soon. As you can also see in the left graph, most of the FDI so far came from the projects in gas and petroleum, textiles, and banking. However, we're looking forward to see FDI in more diversified sectors, such as manufacturing and light engineering, where Japan can be a valuable source of knowledge and inspiration for Bangladesh. Now, let's also look at the COVID-19 situation, because that is now can be a very important decision criteria in the current perspective. To say simply, Bangladesh has done well in managing COVID-19 pandemic and has shown strong economic resilience. That's why Bloomberg, a global financial analyst, they have reported Bangladesh as one of the top 20 COVID resilient countries. Why? From the disease perspective, daily infection rate of COVID in Bangladesh is less than 1,000. Actually, for the last 2 weeks, it's less than 500. So that is a very low number given 160 million population of Bangladesh. And the infection rate against the tested people is only 3 to 4%. And below 5% means in a global criteria that it is under control. The economy has fared well. Government provided a total of $14.6 billion package to the investors as stimulus. The GDP has grown 5.24%, where the global GDP growth was actually negative. So pandemic-wise, Bangladesh is safer than many other countries. In the next part of presentation, we will focus on 3 aspects of Bangladesh investment ecosystem. These are stable and robust economy, attractive incentives and availability of a range of sectors for investment. Now let's say about the first point, why Bangladesh can be regarded as a stable and robust economy. Now for everybody, GDP growth is one indicator of economic strength, where Bangladesh has performed very well. The green thicker line in the graph, it shows the growth of Bangladesh GDP compared to other countries. The growth in the last financial year was 8.2%, which was highest in the Asia Pacific and 6th highest in the world. Even in the post-COVID-19 period, Bangladesh has showed growth of 5.24% against negative growth of global economy. And IMF have forecasted that in next year, Bangladesh's growth can be 6.2%. We can now provide you with a list of features that can make Bangladesh a good investment destination. Firstly, entry and exit in the market is unrestricted. An investor can invest 100% foreign equity or any amount of money as a joint venture and also take it back as capital or profit dividend easily. Visa policy is very liberal with online and quick processing of visa and work permits. And regarding the ease of doing business, Bangladesh is trying very much to improve its ranking. And in the last year, Bangladesh has been the world's top 20 reformers in facilitating the ease of doing business. For the Japanese investors, one thing is important that we have here one thing called Bangladesh-Japan Economic Dialogue or PPED, which is a particular forum for Japanese investors who can discuss their issues with government regulators in Bangladesh. Many of the good decisions in the past have come out of this forum. So you can take the advantage of this forum. Bangladesh has bilateral investment treaties and double taxation avoidance treaties with many countries, and you will be happy to know that a DTT with Japan is also in place. Now let's focus into the incentives and benefits of investing in Bangladesh. In addition to the possibility of exporting, I should say that the local market of Bangladesh, that can also be a very good demand creator. This is because, as our Principal Secretary has already mentioned, private consumption is rapidly increasing here in Bangladesh, and there could be around 34 million middle-class affluent customers by 2025. That's a very strong customer base and very good market indeed for Japanese investors. Bangladesh provides competitive and talented labor and managerial workforce, and their average salary is substantially less than the competitive countries in the region. Similar is the case with utility charges like electricity and water. These two factors together actually can contribute substantially to bring down the production cost of the companies. The more important thing, Bangladesh provides a set of attractive fiscal incentives. First, there can be a 5 to 10 years of corporate holiday based on the sectors or geographical positioning of the industry in Bangladesh. Secondly, there are tax exemption on export income and also the interest paid on foreign loan. Thirdly, capital machinery and raw materials that can be imported with very low import duty, sometimes as low as only 1%. Other than there are cash incentives on some selective export income. Other than this fiscal, many other non-fiscal incentives like bonded warehouse license, visa and work permit are also there, and they are very much attractive indeed. So for your kind information, a set of new infrastructural facilities will be available soon in Bangladesh. There will be 2 deep sea ports with around 16 meters of draft to accommodate mother vessels, new terminal of airport, 6.1 kilometer bridge over river Padma that will connect the southwest part of Bangladesh with the northeast, 20-kilometer long Dhaka metro rail with Japanese finance that will be opening very soon, and bus rapid transit. Other than this, there are construction of more than 100 economic zones and high-tech parks, and we will listen about them in the following presentations. Now, let's focus on some of the sectors that can be interesting for the Japanese investors. So first one is actually the ready-made garments. Japan is already a big investor in this sector in Bangladesh. However, in addition to the traditional R&D, there are scopes of more value addition, particularly on the high-end apparel, accessories, natural and man-made fibers, and backward linkages. Second, leather is a sector. Bangladesh has a good stock of cattle and goat and can supply wet and finished leather for further processing as well as for making high-end leather goods. So if you can say processing, designing, and production in all aspects of the leather industry, the scope is there. Bangladesh has a big number of population with existing demands for drugs and medical facilities. Thus, active pharmaceutical ingredients and medical equipment and devices, they can be attractive sectors, particularly during this post-COVID period. Another post-COVID attractive investment sector is IT and ITES. Lots of young, educated, and tech-savvy young professionals are here. Bangladesh is already providing the second largest number of young freelancers. So one Japanese firm, particularly the Monster Lab, has already started business in Bangladesh in IT sector. And Mr. Kazuki Nakayama from that company will tell us more about this in a few moments in another presentation. Regarding other sectors, you know that Bangladesh has a big population. So sector number 5 and 6, agro food processing, as well as agricultural tools and machinery will always be a sustainable sector for investment here. No doubt about that. Electrical and electronic products, as well as automobiles, will also remain as a good sector for business because of the big number of affluent, middle and higher class consumers coming up, that we said already. And lastly, there is also a potential market for Bangladesh-made ships. So this slide, this actually tells about the future upcoming infrastructure facilities in Bangladesh. I don't want to read out the details of the slide. You can have it and you can study it later. But just wanted to mention that a number of infrastructural facilities are in the lineup and will be available soon to facilitate the business processes for Japanese investors in Bangladesh. Now, regarding institutional facilitation, investors in Bangladesh are given the highest priority, and as such, all relevant investment facilitation agencies have been brought under the direct control of the Prime Minister's office to give it a superior effect. So Bida, Bangladesh Investment Development Authority, it works as the apex IPA, whereas 4 other IPA, they focus on their specific areas. To tell about them, Bangladesh Economic Zones Authority, they deal with the economic zones, 100 economic zones. Then we have Beza, Bangladesh Export Processing Zones Authority, who deals with the investors for export-oriented industries. We have PPP Authority that deals with the projects through the partnership of private and public. And then we have this High-Tech Park Authority that deals with the businesses or investors with ICT-based industries. Since I am from Bida, so to tell something about Bida, our mission actually is to promote and support pro-growth private sector investment and foster a world-class investment ecosystem. To tell a bit detail, our main functions, they evolve around 4 areas. First, investment promotion that we are doing now with you. Second is investment and licensing facilitation when you once decide to come Bangladesh to facilitate to set up your business. We have investment monitoring and aftercare to take care once the businesses are operating. And then we have this policy advocacy to talk as a representative of the investors, to talk with other agencies of the government and private sector to make the business environment more friendly for you. On the right-hand side, these are the actual specific functions of Bida. I am not going to tell detail about this because these information and what information I have given to you and giving to you, those are available in the Bida Investment Handbook that is available over the Bida website. You know, the address of the Bida website is www.bida.gov.bd, and in that website under the resource section you will find this handbook for downloading both in high resolution and low resolution versions. Other than this investment handbook, we have separate sector profiles for different sectors. These are also available. If you need a copy, just tell us. We will be happy to provide you with, or you can download it from the website. To tell about more on our virtual access, Bida has launched online-based one-stop service facility in February 2019. And due to this, although we are in a lockdown for a couple of months, but the work didn't stop. The Bida service were operational for every minute and every second, even during the pandemic lockdown. Now this OSS, now it's covering 41 licensing services from 12 agencies, and we're trying to continue or expand the coverage. Our ultimate goal is to make the business process and licensing fully serviced online, requiring no physical document submission. Already many of the services are there, and we are hopeful that within next 2 years, most of the services will be online. Before actually closing or wrapping up my presentation, I should say that, let me appraise that Japan and Bangladesh, both of the countries, they enjoy a long-lasting relationship proven by time. Just 1 year from now, next year, February, both the countries will celebrate 50 years of their diplomatic relationship. We reckon with pleasure the substantial amount of development assistance and FDI from Japan to Bangladesh until now. Japan is also a very large export destination for Bangladesh. We really hope that the trade and investment between these two countries will flourish more in the near future. As you know, Bangladesh is now actually into the take-off stage of the economy, and thus we expect that investment from Japan into Bangladesh will gradually come or fall into new and diversified sectors. Like as I said before, export-oriented sectors as well as domestic market-oriented sectors are both attractive in Bangladesh. Also, the potential for investing in digital innovations and skill development also can be huge. So let's look forward to a diversified investment portfolio from Japan into Bangladesh. We at Bida are actually always an email or phone call away. Please leave us a message for any queries you may have. We will be happy to respond. Bangladesh, it can be a dream investment destination for you, as well as it can be a good place to put your money. We'll be waiting to interact with you soon. Thank you very much for listening to me. Minasamani aite urishikatta. Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahabub, for your presentation. I now turn to Mr. Mustafizur Rahman, Deputy Secretary, Manager, One-Stop Service and Coordination of Beza, to make his presentation. Mr. Rahman, please.
Thank you, respected Principal Secretary, His Excellency Japan Ambassador to Bangladesh, His Excellency Bangladesh Ambassador to Japan, a respected Executive Chairman of Beza and Executive Chairman of Bida, and other dignitaries. Konnichiwa and good morning. After the brief description of the Bangladesh investment regime and overview of our macroeconomic situation, now we would like to shed our light on the detailed offering by another premium investment promotion agency, Bangladesh Economic Zones Authority, abbreviated as Beza. This is Mustafizur Rahman, Deputy Secretary. Watashi wa keiyo iku daigaku de manabi mashita. Now I am going to present the opportunities available in economic zones. Let me start with the brief introduction of our Economic Zones Authority. Bangladesh Economic Zone Authority is one of the premium investment promotion agency in Bangladesh, which works under the direct supervision of Prime Minister's Office. It is mandated to develop and administer the economic zone. Beza has decided to establish 100 economic zones across the country by 2030, with an expectation to create employment opportunities for 10 million people and to add $40 billion worth of production to our GDP. The reason we are inviting you, because we believe that our sincere effort, backed by the commitment of the highest authority of the government, these economic zones will be the lucrative destination for the investment in this region. Till today, the government has approved sites for establishing 90 economic zones. 28 economic zones are under construction and 9 economic zones have gone for commercial production. Let me briefly enumerate the reasons of inviting you to invest in our economic zones. We offer adequate land, uninterrupted and readily available utility connection, good number of generous fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, simplified business procedure, and there are opportunities to tap the market both from the domestic and the international. Our efforts have already started to pay off. Large number of investors from home and abroad are reposing their trust in us. Till today, the government has approved investment proposal to the tune of $27 billion, of which 1.6 to 3 billion comes from the foreign investors. We have got the investment from various countries, 2 investors from Japan, 5 investors from the United Kingdom, 4 from the Australia, 7 from the China, 2 from the United States of America, and 2 from Netherlands, and the rest of the different countries, from the different countries. Even in the COVID-19, we worked relentlessly. We are restive. We provided uninterrupted services by complying the full social distancing norms. We proposed incentive proposals which are under the consideration of the highest authority of the government, so that in the post-19 COVID climate, our investors can keep trust in us as a good relocation destination. During the COVID, we have allotted a 415.5 hectare land to 106 investor and approved the investment proposal equivalent to $3.254 billion US. Now let me show what kind of incentives you will be entitled to enjoy in the economic zone. This involves both fiscal and non-fiscal. Among the fiscal incentives, I want to mention a few. In economic zones, you will be able to enjoy a corporate income tax holiday for 10 years. It is 100% for the first 3 years, and it will continue to decrease to till 10th year. And there is no tax on dividend, capital gain, royalties, technical know-how fee, technical assistance fee. And there is no personal income tax on the OAs earned by the foreign worker for the first 3 years. There is no VAT on the utility services like gas, electricity, and water. And there you can import your capital machinery and construction material for your plant in the economic zone without duty at the import stage. And this is unique in the Bangladesh. On the top of this, we have good number of fiscal incentives who should take care of many non-fiscal incentives who should take care of many of concerns. Notable non-fiscal incentives are bond facilities. You will be able to enjoy the bond facility both for export-oriented industry and the domestic industry. There is a separate customs procedure for importing into and exporting out from the economic zones. And there is no bar in telephonic transfer. You are able to remit the revenue earned in Bangladeshi taka by converting into focal currency. 100% profit or dividend or disinvestment are allowed to send your country. And you can repatriate different fees like royalties, technical know-how fees, technical assistance fees. Up to 6% of the turnover, you don't need to obtain any permission from any authority. Over 6%, you will have to obtain permission only from the Beza, and this is also unique in this economic zone. Okay, we are developing the economic zones across the country. So apart from the unit investor, if any Japanese entrepreneurs are interested in developing economic zones, they will be given also fiscal incentives. As a developer, they will enjoy the 12-year tax holiday. For first 10 years, it is 100% tax holiday and 70% and 30% respectively for 11th and 12th year. There is no tax on dividend, capital gain, royalties, technical know-how fees for the 10 years for the developer as well. And there is no income on the OAs earned by the foreign worker working in the developer for first 3 years. And there is a unique incentive. You can import all kind of materials, all kind of goods without paying tax and import steps related to the zone development. We know incentives are one-time offering, but the complicated business procedures is a continuous headache for the investors. We often claim that the investors in the economic zones are not troubled with the red tapeism. Rather, we treat them with red carpet. The reason behind our claim is that we have simplified the business process through one-stop service center. Investors are being provided 125 services from the one-stop service. They don't need to go to different offices for obtaining license, permission. Now they get all kinds of service from under one umbrella. One-stop services center is ready to take care of their audits. It reduces the time and cost and ensures the accountability and transparency. You can scan the QR code to visit our OSS portal. If any investor is aggressive enough, he or she can obtain all kind of license and permission to start their construction within 100 days. This is the maximum limit, but our internal study tells that the actual time we take to deliver the services is less than the time mentioned in this table. How we are making this possible? We ensure coordination of 29 service providing agencies through 32 focal points of the respective agencies. They are obliged to deliver the services within the stipulated time. If he or she fails to render the services within the stipulated time, penal action can be taken against him. We have prepared the standard operating procedure for each service with the assistance of Jica. In standard operating procedure, where the required documents are duly mentioned for each services have been updated in online. Thus, one-stop services is facilitating our investors by disseminating the services in the website. One-stop service center also leverages the digitalization power. Many of our services are being provided through online. At present, we are rendering 48 services through online, and this is increasing day by day. We believe that all of the services will be given through online soon. Import permit, export permit, visa recommendation, work permit, project clearance are the frequent services asked by the investors in Beza. Since the inception of Beza One-Stop Service Center in October 2018, we have given 8,109 import permit, 1,543 export permit, 799 visa recommendation, 347 work permit, and 68 project clearance. Now, I will take you to a brief tour in our infrastructure facilities. 10 economic zones are currently ready to host your valuable investment. Some infrastructures are fully ready and some are yet to be completed. In the coming slides, I will shed lights to these slides. Jamalpur Economic Zone, 50 hectare land is available for the Japanese investor. This economic zone is suitable for agro-process industry and prospectus is ready. All the infrastructure have been completed. The CETP will be completed by December 2025. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Shilpa Nagar, this is one of the largest industrial area in the South Asia. In the first phase, we are ready to give you 40 hectare land. This is adjacent to Dhaka-Chittagong corridor, which generates 60% of the country's GDP. This is 60 kilometers from the seaport, and gas, power, water is existing there. Prospectus is also ready. The other utilities will be completed by 2023. In the second phase, in the same industrial area, we will be able to give you 100 acre land, and the utilities infrastructure, including CETP, will be ready by 2025. Kumil Economic Zone, this is a private economic zone. The developer is ready to give you 80 hectare land. Basically, this is situated in the Dhaka-Chittagong economic corridor. And the owner of the economic zone has already developed two economic zones, Meghna Economic Zone and Meghna Industrial Economic Zone. At present, Meghna Industrial Economic Zone is hosting 9 foreign investors. So we believe they will be able to develop this economic zone at a world-class level for our foreign investors. Many utilities and infrastructure have been completed, and the rest will be completed by 2022. Siasganj Economic Zone, this is another private economic zone. They are ready to give you 40 hectares land, and this is also suitable for agro-based industry. And inland container terminal will be built in this economic zone soon. And there are other utilities, infrastructure will be developed by 2023. Kishoreganj Economic Zone, this is another private economic zone. They are ready to give you 10 hectare land. This is very close to river port, and water connection is existing, and other infrastructure will be ready by 2022. Bangladesh Special Economic Zone, this is a Japan government and Bangladesh government to government economic zone. Basically, there will be separate presentation by the concerned authority. His Excellency Japanese Ambassador to Bangladesh has said in September 2022 that Japan is going to invest heavily in this economic zone, and this will be the largest investment in Asia. Abdulmonium Economic Zone, this is another private economic zone, and they are ready to provide you 50 hectare land, and this is situated in the main economic corridor. Honda has already invested in this zone. Water connection, electricity connection is already existing. Internal road connectivity has been done, and other infrastructure will be ready by 2023. Sabdang Tourism Park, this is owned by the Beza, and we are ready to give you 40 hectare land, and this is close to Cox's Bazar, and it has got 120 kilometer long coastline. Prospectus is also ready, A water connection is ready, dike has been completed, and other utilities will be ready by 2022. NAF Tourism Park, we are ready to give you 20 hectare land, and this is close to Cox's Bazar. This is an island-based tourism park, 1 hour proximity to Cox's Bazar airport, and it has got 9.3 kilometer long cable car from the mainland. Prospectus is also ready. We hope that the required infrastructure will be ready by 2022. Hosindi Economic Zone, this is a private economic zone. They are ready to give you 10 hectare land. This is 25 kilometers away from the capital Dhaka, 40 kilometers from the airport, and close to Dhaka-Chittagong corridor. This is located on the bank of the Meghna River, and there is a very good rail, river, and road connectivity. The developer has asked us that all kind of infrastructure will be ready by 2022. Moeshkali Economic Zone, Beza is the owner of this economic zone, and we are ready to give you 20 hectare land, 200 hectare land. This is suitable for LPG terminal, shipbuilding, and petroleum industry. This is the energy hub of the country. A deep sea port will be built, and Prospectus is ready for you. The required infrastructure will be available by 2022. These 4 gentlemen and the lady, we are ready to assist you. Feel free to contact us for any further query, and if you need any kind of assistance. On the left, Mr. Hassan Arif, the Joint Secretary to the Government. He has done his MA in Economics from Yamaguchi University. Myself, Mustafizur Rahman, working as Deputy Secretary. I have done my MA in Business and Commerce from Keio University, Japan. Next, Vinita Rani, working as Deputy Manager in Investment Promotion. She obtained MA degree in Economics from Yamaguchi University. Next, Mohammad Tanvir Hussain Ruman. He is working as Deputy Manager at One Stop Service. At the final, Mr. Durjoy Rai Polash. He is also working as Assistant Manager in One Stop Service. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Rahman, for your presentation. I now would like to invite Mr. Chiharu Tagawa, Assistant General Manager, Sumitomo Corporation Asia and Oceania Private Limited, Dhaka office, to present Bangladesh Special Economic Zone.
মাহবুব, তুমি যে মিৎসুবিশিটা পাঠাইলা ওটা খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না।
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tagawa from Sumitomo Corporation. We are the developer of Bangladesh Special Economic Zone in Araihazal, Narayanganj. This time, please kindly allow me to make presentation in Japanese. 皆様はじめまして、住友商事ダッカ事務所の田川と申します。私からはバングラデシュダッカ近郊で当社住友商事が開発を進めておりますバングラデシュ経済特区についてご説明をさせていただきたいというふうに思います。詳細のご説明に入る前に、当社の工業団地事業の概要について少し触れさせていただきます。こちら青い丸でプロットさせていただいております場所が当社住友商事が開発運営をしております工業団地です。1990年、今から30年以上前になりますが、インドネシアのジャカルタ近郊で初めての工業団地開発をしたのを皮切りにいたしまして、フィリピン、ベトナム、ミャンマー、インドとアジア中心に展開をしてまいりました。そして、数でいうと6カ国目になりますが、次の開発候補として、我々はバングラデシュ、ダッカを選定いたしました。開発の経緯をまとめております。本案件は当社、住友商事だけで開発検討してきたものではなく、こちらのセミナーに登壇をされておりますバングラデシュ政府、並びに日本政府の皆様のご尽力によって前に進んできた案件でございます。6年以上前になります。2014年の9月に安倍前首相がダッカを公式訪問された際に、当地橋名首相と日馬共同声明を取り交わしていらっしゃいます。この中で外国直接投資、具体的には産業、製造業、これをバングラデシュに呼び込もうと、こういう取り組みが交わされました。 具体的には我々のような日系ディベロッパーによる経済特区の開発、そして経済特区の開発運営に必要なインフラの整備、技術支援、これを日本政府からやっていく、こういう握りがなされまして、この日馬共同声明、こちらをアクセルにしまして、我々としても開発の検討を進めてまいりました。当社としては2016年の11月、バングラデシュ経済特区庁、我々はBezaと呼んでおりますけれども、Bezaと経済特区開発についての議論を開始しております。こちらでは提案書を提出というふうに書いておりますけれども、バングラデシュのポテンシャルを何とか顕在化するための投資環境の改善、これを一緒にやっていこうという提案書をまず議論の初めに出させていただきました。そこから関係省庁との議論、日本政府、バングラ政府、関係者の皆さんとの議論を経まして、この3年後に2019年12月、経済特区の開発主体として、バングラデシュ SEZ リミテッドという合弁会社、こちらは住友商事とBezaとの合弁の会社を設立しております。こちらがバングラ政府との合弁契約書の届け事業の概要になります。繰り返し名前をお話しさせていただいておりますが、バングラデシュ経済特区、英語名でバングラデシュスペシャルエコノミックゾーンという名前をいただきました。これはパートナーであります経済特区庁、今回も登壇されますチョードリー長官から、バングラデシュ政府として全土に100の経済特区の開発を目指していく、この100の経済特区のモデルになるような、フラッグシップになるような経済特区にしてほしいと、こういう意味を込めて、この国の名前、バングラデシュという名前を拝命いたしました。日馬官民合同のプロジェクトということで、バングラ政府、バングラの国旗、そして日本の国旗をイメージしたブランドのロゴも作成させていただいております。開発の面積は第1期として、まずは190ヘクタールの開発を予定しております。さらに販売が進めば拡張を検討していくという形にしております。特徴といたしまして、日馬政府の皆様のご尽力によりまして、370億円というですね、非常に巨額な円借款の供与が確定をしております。この円借款を活用いたしまして、周辺のインフラ、具体的には洪水対策、電気、水、通信、ガス、こういった、国際水準のインフラを整備していただきます。さらには、投資許認可の手続きの簡素化ということで、バングラデシュは元来、投資許認可を取りに行くのに、いろいろな観光庁を巡ってですね、手続きをしなければならないという煩雑性がありましたけれども、今まさに日本政府、主に JICA さんがご支援をされながらですね、この投資許認可を取りまとめるワンストップサービスセンターという制度を整えていらっしゃいます。ここのオフィスを物理的に我々の経済特区の中に設置をいたしまして、ご入居いただく企業さんの許認可手続きをしっかりサポートしていく、こういう体制を整えてまいります。バングラデシュ経済特区のアクセスになります。ダッカの中心部から東に直線距離で約20キロ行った場所、車で行きますと約1時間のアクセスになります。国道2号線沿いに我々の開発サイトを準備いたしました。開発区画、今スライド出ておりますけれども、緑の枠で囲ませていただいております全体190ヘクタール、こちらをまずは第1期として開発を進めてまいります。バングラ政府にはアクセス道路、通信、ガス、排水設備、さらには盛り土、そしてインフラの脆弱性が心配されますが、電気、変電所、そして発電所、これを専用のものをバングラ政府、これは円借款を活用したバングラ政府によって整備をしていただきます。この上で 我々としての基礎インフラ、配線だとか配管、道路、さらには水インフラ、浄水場、下水処理場といったものを内部に作らせていただきまして、国際水準のインフラを整備した経済特区の開発を進めてまいります。バングラデシュは洪水のリスクが比較的高い国でございます。この洪水対策といたしまして、盛り土並びに堤防を作っていただく、これはバングラ政府によって作っていただくということにしています。しっかりとした設計根拠に基づいたデザインで、この洪水リスクをしっかり低減していくということを目指しております。まさにこの盛り土の工事がですね、今まさに進んでおりますので、いくつか写真を持ってまいりましたので、ご参考ください。こちらは盛り土の工事を始める前の開発サイトの様子でございます。広大な土地に田んぼが広がっている土地、こちらを整備する。昨年の8月に工事が始まっておりまして、すでに国道からサイトに向かう仮設のエントランスもできております。このエントランスを入りますと、今まさに盛り土を施工されております日本のゼネコンさんで東和建設工業さん、こちらのサイトオフィスがもうすぐ完成が見えているところです。こちらのサイトの盛り土工事につきましては、ダンプトラックのようなもので砂を運んでくるのではなくてですね、近くの川にパイプをつなぎまして、川の砂と川の水を一緒にポンプで圧送してきて、砂を溜めていくと、こういった浚渫という方法で工事がなされます。こういった浚渫用のパイプが、我々のサイトに今現状で10本敷設をすでにされておりまして、日量で言いますと2万トンの砂が毎日吹かれているような状況です。今回第1期190ヘクタールということで非常に広大な土地でして、大体ゴルフ場が100ヘクタール、東京にあります東京ディズニーリゾートランドと市を合わせると100ヘクタールぐらいという形になりますので、これが2つ入るような非常に巨大な土地を整備していただくということで、まだまだ時間もさらにコストもかけてバングラ政府には洪水対策を行っていただく予定です。開発のスケジュールをこちらで示させていただいております。現状第1期の190ヘクタールの一部ですね、我々先行開発区画として選んでおりまして、こちらの盛り土および堤防の工事というのが今年の年末に完了する予定にしております。そこから当社開発主体でありますバングラデシュ SEZ リミテッド、こちらが土地の引き受けをいたしまして、インフラの造成工事約1年をかけて来年の末2022年に操業開始、これを時間軸にしております。工場用のプロットの販売につきましては、我々開発主体の造成工事が着工したタイミング、同じタイミング、今年の年末に正式に販売活動を開始していく予定にしております。一方で、正式な販売活動まだ始めていないんですけれども、プレスリリース等で、情報を取っていただいた製造業の皆様からすでにお問い合わせはいただいておりまして、一番早いご入居企業さんのスケジュールで言いますと、我々の着工から少し遅れて、来年22年の年始、こちらから工場の建設が着工できるスケジュールで今目指して開発を進めております。こちらのスライドでまとめとさせていただきます。バングラデシュは輸出産品の8割を縫製業で占めている国です。我々開発させていただきますバングラデシュ経済特区では、なんとかたくさんの製造業さん、多様な製造業さんを呼び込みまして、このバングラデシュが抱える1億7000万人の国民の経済をしっかり支えていくような産業の柱を1つでも2つでも作っていきたい。その結果として雇用をたくさん生み出して、経済の下支えをする、豊かさを支えるようなプラットフォーム ぜひしていきたいというふうに思っております。こちらのスライドで私も含めて当社の問い合わせ先を載せさせていただいております。バングラデシュに魅力を感じていただいた方、製造拠点としてぜひ投資を検討したいという方がいらっしゃればですね、情報収集等々でも構いませんので、ぜひお気軽に情報までコンタクトいただければというふうに思います。伊藤大使もアジアナンバーワンの経済特区にするということで、強いコメントをいただいておりますので、我々関係者一同しっかりこの思いを一つにしてですね、開発をぜひ続けていきたいと思いますので、引き続きよろしくお願いいたします。本日はお時間いただきましてありがとうございます。Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tagawa, for your presentation. Due to the time limit, we are going to skip the question answer session here, as we have received a number of questions from the participants at the time of the registration. I think some of these questions have been answered in the presentations of Bida and Beza respectively. However, if not answered, the organizers will send directly to the participants. And throughout this webinar, if you have any questions, please use our webinar platform and please put your name and company name. I'd like to invite Mr. Kazuki Nakayama, Director, Monster Lab Bangladesh, to make his presentation. Mr. Nakayama, please.
Okay.
This is fine.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity today. My name is Kazuki. I'm basically speaking about a topic about IT companies today, as it's mentioned. In Japanese, and I would like to switch to Japanese right now. はじめまして、皆様、モンスターラボの中山と申しますと。ですね、本日は、モンスターラボからですね、IT 事業に関わる、ところで、皆様ですね、強みであったり、課題であったりというところを、ご説明しようかなと思いますと。OK。で、すいません。まずですね、会社の紹介、私の紹介を前半にして、で、後半にですね、バングラデシュの強みと課題であったり、政府がかなり、IT 会社に対してインセンティブをつけているので、その部分に関しての説明を、別出しで、させていただこうかなと思います。はい。では、ちょっと私は誰なのかというところですね。中山和樹と申します。バングラデシュのモンスターラボとタイのモンスターラボの責任者をしております。で、今はですね、タイに住んでおりまして、しばらく1年ぐらいバングラデシュには行ってないんですが、ですね、なんで行ってないかというと、他の IT 会社と同じようにバングラデシュの IT 会社はですね、コロナ以降、すべてみんなリモートでやっているので、バングラデシュに行ってもですね、スタッフに会えないというところで、私、今、タイに住んでおりますと。で、バングラデシュは約8年ですね。で、青年会協力隊であったり、日系のメーカーにいたり、で、今、モンスターラボで合計8年ほど、バングラデシュでの勤務経験がございますと。はい。ですね。次、会社紹介というところで、モンスターラボって何ぞやと。名前を聞いたことがある方はほぼいないと思うんですが、モンスターラボっていうのは、IT コンサルタンシー事業、これをしておりますと。でもこれ会社で言っている名前なんですけど、これ結局何をしているかというと、アプリを作っています。ウェブサービスを作っていますという会社でございます。で、どうやって作っているかっていうところで言うとですね、お客様がいらっしゃって、お客様の持っているリソースであったり、こういうことをやりたい。でも、どうやって作ったらいいかわからないというところで、我々がパートナーになって、企画からデザイン、開発、運営まで、運用ですね、 までを、パートナーとして一緒に作っていきましょうというような会社でございます。ですね。で、結局、どういうものを作っているかっていうところで、例を、いくつか出させていただいたんですが、この中から、2、3紹介させていただくと、例えばですね、このカリームナですね。これは、皆様、お使いかもしれないですが、例えば日本で言うと、Uber Eats であったり、出前館であったりですね。っていうところの中東版で、中東で一番大きいやつ。最近 Uber に買収されたので、Uber の子会社といった感じでございますが、そこのデリバリーサービスを、そうですね、弊社のドバイオフィスと、ロンドンとバングラデシュで一緒に作ったというような感じです。日本で言うとですね、このアジア高速さん、例えばですね、例わかりやすいかなと思うんですが、アジア高速さんは、海底地形マップっていう、データを持っていた。それを使って、どのようなサービスが作れるかっていうところで、我々と一緒に、ビジネス設計から考えて、その釣りのユーザーに、その海底地形と、釣りの情報を組み合わせた、アプリを提供したらどうかっていうところで、今結構かなりユーザーも増えているサービスなんですけど、設計からデザイン、開発までを一緒に、させていただいたと。その他トライットさんだったり、鹿児島銀行さんのフィンテックだったりと。こういった、いわゆる DX っていうところの、を、ゼロから一緒にお客様と一緒に作るというような会社でございます。でですね、我々の事業所をいくつか、紹介すると、16カ国25オフィス。で、従業員は1200人ほどといったところで、バングラデシュの位置づけというかですね、はですね、我々のビジネスの中でいろいろ工程がありますと。で、例えばですね、リサーチ、デザイン、ユーザーテスト。これ設計と言われるんですね。で、開発、QA、テストですね。そこから運用と。この3つのフェーズがあるんですが、バングラデシュはこの開発とテストっていうところ、開発の部分を、メインでしている拠点で、こういう、リサーチ企画、デザイン、ユーザーテストっていうところは、我々のマーケットと呼んでいるところですね。例えば、日本、中国、シンガポール、ドバイ、あとヨーロッパ、アメリカですね。っていうところが、マーケットで、ここに、デザインとか企画とか PM とかがいると。で、開発拠点、バングラデシュの開発拠点。例えば、ベトナム、バングラ、フィリピン、あとチェコ、ウクライナは、開発にフォーカスしているといった位置づけで、世界展開している会社でございます。はい。そうですね。で、モンスターラボ、バングラデシュの、グループ内の位置づけ、先ほど申しました通り、開発センターですと。で、もう一つ、特徴的なところで言うと、より英語が通じるプロジェクト向けであるというのが、2つの大きい特徴です。はい。ここまでが、会社紹介、自己紹介といったところで、ここからバングラデシュのですね、強みと課題っていうところを、いくつかピックアップして、皆さんにお伝えできればと思いますと。モンスターはバングラデシュ、今5年目ですと。で、従業員は今60名ですね。今年、90名ぐらいまで増やそうかなといったところで、拡大、していこうという感じになってますと。なので、今まで、そうですね、60名に増やすまで、いろいろ、経験をしております。その経験を皆様にシェアできたらといったところでございます。まず強みから、ですね、ピックアップしますと、大きく5つありますと。で、最後のインセンティブは口述ので除くと4つですね。まず、一番上の英語が話せるといったところ。これは、卒業してから皆さん大学で勉強するときに英語を話せるようになるので、基本ほぼ全員英語を話せるといったところが強みですと。 中東、弊社でいうと中東であったりヨーロッパ、アメリカ、あとシンガポールで、のプロジェクトに、すんなり入れるといったところが、一つ大きい強みですと。で、もう一つ、若手エンジニアの採用が比較的容易。これはですね、比較的容易なんですが、そうですね、めちゃくちゃ優秀なエンジニアが、採用できるというところは強みですね。ただですね、採用にちょっとコストがかかったりもしますというところで、例えばですね、我々会社を作ったときに、8人まずエンジニアを募集しましたと。その枠に1300人ぐらい応募が来ましてですね、なんですかね、HR、そのインタビューであったり、選別であったりというところ、かなり大変な、思い出がありますと。なので、採用チャンネルとかをしっかりしないと、逆にコストがかかる、時間のコストがかかるというところはありました。そうですね、下に行きまして、コスト的に競争力がありますと。でこれは完全に当社費のっていうところですが、ベトナムと同等、もしくは少し高い程度。他社さんだったらもしくは少し安い程度っていうところもあるかもしれませんが、そのエンジニアの種類によって、少し変わるかなといったところです。で、もちろんロンドンの7分の1、8分の1とか、そこら辺だと思います。で、チェコで言うと、3分の1か2分の1あたりですと。弊社のチェコの開発拠点との、比較になりますが、やっぱりそのコスト的な、インセンティブというか、ベネフィット、かなり強いですと。斜め上ですね、強いコミットメントと人柄。これはですね、その弊社の社長が、拠点を作った理由でもある、この人柄っていうところですね。強い、そうですね、なんだろうな、非常に積極的であるというところですかね。あと、熱気にあふれた若者が多いというところが一つ魅力かなと。あと、コミットメントが強いって書いてますが、プロジェクトで佳境に入ったときは、やっぱりリーダーシップ取って、休日じゃあこうやるからみたいなところを、自分からやってくれるというところを、強いコミットメントが、感じられますという、大きく5つ、中の4つを紹介しました。で、続きましてですね、逆にチャレンジですね。課題っていうところで、3つ、大きくトピック、書かせていただいてますが、まずミドル層以上の採用難しい。ここは、どこも同じだと思いますがって書いてますが、その他の国でもこれは課題なのかなと思います。で、採用して、育てていくって時間かかる、プロセスを経れば、問題ないのかなと思うんですが、ミドル層以上で、すごく優秀な方、マインドセットが良い方っていうのを採用するのは、やはり時間がかかるし、マーケットにも、そこまで、比較的少ないかなっていう印象ですね。隣に行きまして、日本語は話せない。これはですね、特にベトナムに比べると、エンジニアであったり、PM であったりは、日本語はほぼ話せないですと。なので、日本のマーケットにフォーカスするときは、おそらくその、そうですね、横に Bjet プログラムっていうのが書いてますが、Jica さんとがやっていたプロジェクトですね。エンジニアに日本語を教えて、日本に採用してもらおうよというようなプログラムが、今もありまして、そこで日本語を話せるエンジニアを採用して、少し育てて、彼女たちに、ブリッジエンジニアになって、そこからバングラデシュの拠点、投資した先にアウトソースするというような形が一つ勝ちパターンのかなと。もしくは日本側で、英語を話せるエンジニアを雇う、外国人を雇うというところも一つかなと思います。はい。最後にですね、この優秀な人材から外国への就職、移住に向かうというところがありますと。これは英語を話せて優秀であるというところで、やはりですね、移住、進学というところは結構多いです。年間 5% ぐらいは、移住、就職、海外進学に向かっちゃいます。優秀な人材からどんどん行ってしまうという、海外志向が強いっていうところで、ここに対しては、やはり日本に召喚するだったり、我々で言うと、ヨーロッパの拠点に行ってもらうとか、というところで、インセンティブがあればいいのかなという感じでございます。はい。で、これ、チャレンジと、課題と、ベネフィット、この2つを大まかに説明しましたが、最後にですね、政府が、IT、おそらくですね、次の一つの大きい産業に育てたいという、意思が、政府にはあるので、IT 会社にはですね、特別なインセンティブ、かなり強いインセンティブがありますと。そちらに関してですね、大きく3つですね、ちょっと説明して、終わりにしたいと思います。まず1つ、2024年まで法人税 100% 免除ですね。これに関しては、完全に免除されていますし、オペレーション上そうなっています。なので、かなり、すみません、これ下に書いてある文字間違ってますね。していただいて。2024年までは、100% 免除されています。これはオペレーション上も問題ないです。で、その他、税金の免除っていうところで、下に3つ書いてますが、オフィス料金の減税税の免除、VAT の免除。プラスですね、最近、始まったらしい、外国人従業員の所得税 50% 免除ですね、3年間。これはですね、私がいたときはなかったもので、新しいものですね。で、続きまして上に行きまして、これはちょっと、コントラバーシャルではあるんですけれども、国外からの収入に対して 10% のキャッシュインセンティブ。これどういうことかと言いますと、例えばモンスターラボだったら、モンスターラボバングラデシュが外国にクライアントがいますと。外国から、その売り上げで、例えば1000万円売り上げましたと、1年に。それだったら1000万円に対してその100万円のキックバックがあると。この政府からのキャッシュバックがあるというですね。なので、オリジナル、元も、そうですね。10% 粗利が増えるというような、もともと増えちゃうというような、これ結構大きいインセンティブ、になってますが、これまだですね、我々2年前からアプライしてるんですけど、まだ、何も返事がないというところですね、本日、ビダの皆さん、ぜひ、モンスターラボよろしくお願いしますといったところでございます。最後にですね、デジタルバングラデシュっていうバングラデシュの政府が今唱えているスローガンがあって、その、スローガンのもとですね、IT を大きい産業を育てようという意思がかなり感じられるなと、私も思いますと。インドによくあるような IT パークとかも今後増えていく見込みだというところ、という話も聞いておりますと。以上が、私の、プレゼンなんですかね、になりますが、そうですね、日系の企業さん、特に IT の企業さんで、バングラデシュに進出を考えてらっしゃる、会社様に、まとめを言いますとですね、バングラデシュのエンジニアはめちゃくちゃ優秀だと思います。で、特に若手エンジニアを、日本に連れていくであったり、バングラデシュ雇うであったり、っていうのを、比較的容易にできるのかなと。で、その後に、その会社にずっといてもらうために、いろいろな日本語を教えるだったり、日本に行ってもらうだったり、そういう、なんですかね、ベネフィットをつけるとか、そういうことは一つ大切なことになるかなと。あともう一つ、日本語が話せないっていうところで、そのブリッジをどうやって活用するかっていう課題が解決できれば、非常に魅力的な、投資先なのではないかなと、私は思っておりますと。はい。以上になります。Thank you very much for listening. ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you, Mr. Nakayama, for your presentation. I now would like to invite Mr. Yuji Ando, Country Representative of Bangladesh Japan External Trade Organization, to make his presentation.
Thank you very much, all the special guests, panelists, and participants. আমি ইউজান্ড প্রধান প্রতিনিধি জেট্রো থেকে প্রথমে সবাইকে এত সুন্দর অনুষ্ঠান করার জন্য অনেক অভিনন্দন জানাতে চাচ্ছি এবং আমাকে বক্তব্য দেওয়ার সুযোগ দেওয়ার জন্য অনেক ধন্যবাদ জানাতে চাচ্ছি। আমি জাপানি ইনভেস্টরকে জাপানি ভাষায় কথা বলি। 私はですね、ジェトロバングラデシュ事務所の安藤と申します。本日ですね、お時間いただきましてありがとうございます。私の方からはですね、バングラデシュの日系企業さんの動向、あとコロナの状況に関しても、少しご報告の方させていただきたいと存じます。まず今日一番伝えたいことでございます。バングラデシュは本当に経済発展を、していると。で、皆さんお持ちのですね、貧困国というイメージはもう、捨て去っていただきたいということでございます。この写真にございます、建設ラッシュが続いてます。あと、この右はですね、JICA さんが支援をされている、高速鉄道ですね、これの建設の現場です。あと、この左下の写真はですね、私がよく使うファーストフードショップなんですけども、そこでもですね、フードデリバリーですね、このピンクの T シャツを着た人ですね、フードパンダというサービス、こういったものを使うですね、人たちも非常に増えておりまして、やはり人々は豊かになってきているというところでございます。あと、皆さんお気づきかもしれないんですけども、今日このウェビナー、すべてライブでやってます。一度もインタラプションがない、停電がないです。こうしたことからもわかるようにですね、バングラデシュのインフラ状況も非常に良くなっているということをご理解いただければと思います。こちらのスライドでですね、伝えたいことは一つです。人口1億約7000万。で、1人当たりの GDP はもはや2000ドルに近づいていると。これはもうインドと肩を並べるほどの経済成長を遂げていると。これに関しては強調させていただければと思っております。で、日本企業さんのですね、活動の動向でございます。今年度ですね、昨年末で318社となってまして、この10年ほどで約4倍ぐらいに増えているということでございます。あと商工会、ダッカ日本商工会のですね、会員もですね、増えておりまして、今3分の1、約110社に加盟をいただいているというような状況です。皆さんの活動に関しましてはですね、やはりその、繊維産業、あとはそのインフラ、あと先ほど本田さんからもご報告がございましたが、製造業、あとはですね、バングラデシュ経済発展を遂げてますので、内需を目指す方々の進出、あとは先ほどモンスターラボの和樹さんからもお話がございましたが、IT 産業の進出というのも非常に多く続いているというところでございます。で、このバングラデシュにですね、注目を集めている理由としましては、やはりその経済発展の高さ、こういったところでございます。コロナの中でもですね、5% 台を維持をしまして、今年度ですね、バングラデシュ政府は 7.4% のですね、経済成長を見込むというところでございます。で、この経済成長はですね、ここ最近の話ではございません。30年、タイムラインを取ってみました。他の、イマージングカントリーズと比べてもですね、バングラデシュは実はこの太い黒線で表現しておりますが、常にもう安定した成長を遂げていると、ここに関しては一つ強調させていただきたいと思っております。で、こうした背景でございます。先ほどから皆さんお話をされています通り、やはり輸出指向型の産業というものがあって、これが常に外貨を稼ぎ出していると。で、あとはですね、常にバングラデシュの方がですね、海外に出稼ぎの労働者として、就労しておりまして、その方々がですね、自国に出稼ぎの送金をすると、仕送りをすると。こういったところの、外貨、送金源。あとはその農業生産という意味ではですね、この1億7000万を養うほどの、農業生産性の高さ、あとは内需の高さ、こういったところがですね、やはりその経済力の強さの基盤になっているというところになっているかと思います。で、輸出入の状況です。これは皆さんおっしゃっていましたので、省略の方させていただきたいと思いますが、輸出はほとんどが衣料品、あとは輸入はですね、原材料、機械、あとはその燃料ですね、こういったものは依然輸入に頼っていると。こういったものをいかに内製化していくかというところもですね、一つ大きな課題になっているかと思います。で、今日ですね、非常に強調したいことの一つとしましては、やはりそのバングラデシュ内需が非常に伸びているというところであります。1.7 億の人口がございます。非常に内需を目指す日本企業さん、あ あとは他の国の企業さんも非常に今注目をされています。やはり一番初めに注目がいくのはですね、この上の方の写真にもありますが、例えばスーパーマーケット、こういったものも非常に増えています。今、ダッカ市内に300店舗ぐらいあるというふうに言われているんですけども、こういったところにアプローチする企業さんが非常に多くなっています。実際ですね、私10年前にもバングラデシュに駐在をしていた時に比べて、棚に並ぶ品数っていうのがもう圧倒的に今増えています。ローカルで調達できるものもですね、非常に増えていまして、本当に卑近な例で恐縮なんですけども、最近、日本のおかきに似た、例えばローカルの会社が作っているスナックなんかもあります。食べてみると味はもう完全に日本のおかきです。これまで一国して、毎回おかきをたくさん持ってきていたんですけども、もうおかきを買って日本から持ってくる必要がないなって思ってるぐらい、もうその地場で調達ができます。あとは、ヌードルなんかも非常に多く調達ができまして、最近ローカルの方がまたこれ作っている、トムヤムクンのヌードルなんですけども、それが完全に日本のきしめんと同じでして、これも日本に戻ってきしめんを持ってこなくていいなっていうぐらい、もうローカルで手に入るものも非常に増えています。で、ただ一方でですね、依然として市場の多くは、やっぱそのウェットマーケット、トラディショナルマーケットがですね、多く占めますので、こういったところにいかにアプローチするかっていうところがですね、今後の課題になってくるというふうに思っています。あとは最近、お金持ちだけではなくて、中間層が増えてます。やはりその FMCG、おむつ日用品、化粧品、こういったもののですね、可能性というのも非常に増えているかというふうに思います。で、コロナの状況です。こちらは伊藤大使からもご報告がございましたので、簡単にご説明の方をさせていただきます。昨日の時点でですね、累計感染者は53万人程度。で、回復者はもう90% 近くございます。で、1日の感染者はもう500人前後ということで、非常に減少傾向にあってですね、ワクチンの集団接種も2月7日から開始を予定しているというような状況でございます。非常にバングラデシュうまく抑え込んでいるなというところが、今注目されるところではないかなと思います。最後でございます。コロナ禍での日本企業の動向であります。この毎月ですね、ダッカ日本商工会の方でアンケートを取っているところの先月末、1月末の時点でのデータになります。で、創業状況に関しましては、もうダッカ日本商工会の会員さん、ほぼ全企業さんが創業を再開をされているというところでございます。で、2つ目の渡航状況でございます。これに関してはですね、1月末時点でもう7割の企業さんが再渡航を済まされているというところで、一方残りの3割弱の企業さんが日本で一時退避を続けられているというようなところでございます。で、そのうち1割の企業さんがですね、もう再渡航が決まって、準備をされているというところでございますので、徐々に、戻ってくる企業さんが増えていくというところであります。で、すでに再渡航した企業さんのうちですね、4分の1、25% は出張者も渡航を開始をされているというところでございまして、一方、一時退避を続けられている企業さんのですね、再渡航されるタイミングに関しましては、やはりまだ本格的に再開がされていない、特に ASEAN 経由の商業便がですね、再開してから、あとは、やはりコロナウイルスの感染状況次第、というようなことをお答えになられる企業さんが多くございます。で、最後ですね、皆さん出張でいらっしゃる時のですね、注意点を最後少しお伝えしたいと思います。今ですね、入国される際にはですね、日本から出発する時間から遡って72時間以内に実施した PCR 検査の陰性証明書が必要になってございます。その後ですね、入国後、2週間の自己隔離の措置が必要になってございまして、ただ、入国後14日以内の出国自体は可能になっているというところであります。で、出国するときはですね、 ダッカから出国する、出発時間から72時間以内に、政府が指定した病院で実施した今、PCR 検査、陰性証明書の提示が今必要になってございますので、このあたり出入国の制限ですね、留意いただければと思います。では、私の方の、プレゼンテーションは以上でございます。Jetro のですね、ウェブサイトでは、常に最新情報をご提供しておりますので、ぜひこちらの方もご覧いただければと思います。あとは、何か、ご質問、気になることがございましたら、いつでも、気軽に Jetro の方に、お尋ねいただければと思いますので、ぜひともよろしくお願いをいたします。Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ando, for your presentation. With that, we close our presentation session, and now I'd like to proceed to the closing remarks. First is the respected Executive Chairman of Bida, Mr. Sirajul Islam. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I believe I am audible.
Sir, we can hear you, please.
Thank you. Okay. Honorable Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Dr. Ahmed Kakaus, to the Chief Guest, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Japan, Mr. Naoki Ito, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Bangladesh to Japan, Mr. Shahabuddin Ahmed, Distinguished Executive Chairman of Beza, respected business leaders and participants. Assalamu alaikum and good day. Greetings on behalf of the Bangladesh Investment Development Authority. I would like to thank you all for joining this webinar, which is being jointly organized by Bida, Beza, the Embassy of Bangladesh in Japan, Jica, and Jetro. I especially thank the Japanese companies that have shared their stories, Honda, Monsterlab, and I also like to thank Jetro. Mr. Nakayama raised some of the challenges. One of them is recruitment of middle manager and higher positions, which is he found little difficult. Yes, that's true. But I believe that with the passage of time, this problem will go away. And he mentioned another thing, speaking Japanese is difficult, yes. And we can have some special program on this. And I think JICA is running a program on this, and this can be rolled out and expanded so that more of our engineers and other managers can speak Japanese fluently, and they can provide services to the Japanese companies. And change of job is a normal routine. In fact, people always like to find more suitable options. So, well, and the 10% incentive on the income that comes from abroad, we definitely would like to examine this, and we will bring it within the notice of NBR. I'm not sure whether this incentive is given on any income from abroad, or it is on export item only. So we will examine this. Thank you very much for raising these issues. Dear participants, since our independence, we share a very strong bond with Japan. Japanese business offers special value for our rapidly growing economy. Bangladesh currently has over 300 Japanese companies, and the vast majority of these businesses have witnessed high profitability and are moving towards expansion, as found by Jetro in their latest surveys. We are expecting to see more business investment from Japan in the coming years. We look forward to providing them with services and support. Allow me to share some examples that reflect our commitment to drive Japanese investment. Some of them might be a repetition because many of these speakers talked about this. During the pandemic, Bida reached out to the private sector to understand policy challenges, and the government took initiative to address them. which helped business operate smoothly during the crisis. I would like to mention that many of these policy reforms were recommended by the Japanese investors. Particularly, I would like to thank His Excellency Japanese Ambassador Mr. Naiko Ito, because he brought some of the issues to my notice, and we forwarded it to the government, particularly some of them to the Bangladesh Bank and some of them to the NBR. Our central bank allowed foreign companies to access working capital loans from parent companies for paying salaries and simplified the profit and dividend repatriation processes, which were requested by Japanese businesses. The central bank also took steps to allow banks and non-banking institutions to extend financial support to foreign companies against overseas guarantees. For the Japanese investors and employees who had to return home because of the virus, Bida provided fast-track online services to make sure that their permits and licenses do not expire. Also, Bida's task force on boosting FDI is working to implement recommendations to increase policy support for Japanese businesses. Dear participants, even prior to COVID-19, we were looking to liberalize the investment regime for foreign businesses. A new and more liberal visa policy has been issued. We are also reviewing the Foreign Exchange Regulations Act and monetary policy. Our commitment to business climate reforms and digitization of investor services has been recognized by the World Bank in its last Doing Business report, which described Bangladesh as one of the world's top 20 reformers. We are expecting that another report will be coming up next month, and we are hopeful that our position in the World Bank Doing Business Global Index will be further improved. And we believe that we will be around one of the 10 best performers. Bida's online one-stop service already provides 41 e-payment enabled services of 12 government agencies, and we will provide more than 150 services of around 40 government and non-government agencies within this year. We have achieved many significant doing business reforms, including the introduction of a fast-track registration system for business and infrastructural development of Jetro port. More reform will be done this year, including the establishment of an insolvency regime. Dear participants, as the Apex Investment Promotion Agency of Bangladesh, Bida is responsible for investment promotion, facilitation, and policy advocacy. We provide specialized support for all types of foreign investment in various sectors. We have 2 dedicated desks for Japanese investors, and these were suggested by the Japanese investors. Our teams provide support in all issues related to pre-investment and provides aftercare in the post-registration phase. We are mindful of project timelines, and that is why we streamline the setting up of projects in easy-to-follow regulations. Also, I am very happy to announce that Bida is hosting the Bangladesh International Investment Summit in Dhaka in July this year. We invite Japanese business to participate in this event, to be attended by the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Investors who will take opportunity to enter this Bangladeshi market will be provided fast-track facilities. Dear participants, The learned speakers of this webinar have in detail described the unbounded opportunities available in our country. I invite you to take advantage of our unique offers and to join our summit in July. With that, I will conclude my address. If you want to reach out after this event, our doors are always open. Thank you again for listening to me. I thank you. Over to the moderator.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite now Mr. Pawan Chaudhary, respected Executive Chairman of Bangladesh Economic Zone Authority, Beza, to address his closing remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Principal Secretary to SPM, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. We have already heard 3 Japanese companies heard about their experiences in growing with Bangladesh economy. We have heard Ambassador Ito, Jetro representative, and also Honorable Principal Secretary. We know that Bangladesh is enjoying political stability for a long time. We are pursuing continuous policy reforms to promote trade and investment. We have a very investment-friendly government and also investment-friendly investment promotion agencies. Bangladesh is currently implementing major infrastructure projects. With these initiatives, Bangladesh is poised to become an attractive destination for the Japanese investments. Japan's involvement in Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt, BIGB, is expected to accelerate industrial agglomeration along the Dhaka-Chittagong-Cox's-Bazar economic corridor and beyond. The government of Japan has initiated supply chain resilience initiative against the backdrop of disruption in critical supply chain due to COVID-19 pandemic. Of late, Bangladesh has been included in the list of countries where relocation of Japanese industries will be re-incentivized by Japanese government. We are deeply humbled and at the same time well prepared to host Japanese investments. Beza is working relentlessly to change the investment landscape of Bangladesh. We are setting up economic zones in all the prospective areas across the country. These zones are offering unencumbered land, adequate utility services, and a state-of-the-art industrial infrastructure. Beza's flagship projects include Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Shilpanagar in the southeastern part of the country. Once completed, this industrial city will encompass more than 30,000 acres of land. Because of its proximity to sea, this city is certainly a cut above in the rest of the region. I am glad to share the fact that a leading Japanese business group, Sojitz Corporation, is set to conduct detailed feasibility study for the public-private partnership seaport in Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Shilpanagar. We have already signed MOU with them, and Chittagong Port Authority has already given their consent to participate in the equity partnership. This port will cater the increasing demand of shipping and logistic activities of the growing economy of Bangladesh. In addition to this, Beza is working to support establishment of an exclusive Japanese economic zone. And Sumitomo Corporation is the developer for this SEZ, very close to the city, only about 30 minutes drive from Dhaka. This zone formally named as Bangladesh a Special Economic Zone, and is already we have heard a presentation from Sumitomo representative. We have already expedited implementation of this zone. Very soon it will be ready to host Japanese investments as projected by Sumitomo representative, might be by the beginning of next year. However, the FDI inflow from Japan to Bangladesh is not significant till date. And definitely, we will be expecting that with the implementation of Japanese economic zone and flagship projects like the BSMSN and also implementation of MEDI initiative will make Bangladesh more attractive for Japanese investments in comparison with other neighbors, other competing countries. Bangladesh currently has over 300 Japanese companies, and the number is referred as 318 by Jetro representative. In a 2019 survey conducted by Jetro, it was found that 70.3% of Japanese companies are willing to expand their operations in Bangladesh, which remains the highest proportion in Asia and Oceania. These statistics suggest that we have been valuing the trust our Japanese investors reposed in us. As the chairman of Beza, I would like to invite you all to explore the opportunities at our economic zones. I sincerely believe that if we collaborate with each other, Bangladesh will be new frontier for Japanese investment. And definitely, as the executive chairman of Beza, I am expecting, and we are actually working with the target of accommodating, hosting more than 50% of Japanese investments within next 5 years at our economic zones. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Mr. Yuho Hayakawa, Chief Representative, Bangladesh Office of Jica.
Thank you very much. So, 本日は、皆様の貴重なお時間をいただきましてご参加賜り改めて感謝申し上げます。また、お忙しい中、ご挨拶をいただきました、伊藤大使、シャハブディン、大使、そして、チーフゲスト、カイカウス主席次官のをはじめとしまして、ご講演いただいた、日本、バングラデシュの皆様に心より感謝申し上げます。閉会の挨拶にあたりまして、JICA とバングラデシュとの深い関係性につきまして、少しだけ触れさせていただければと思います。来年2022年は、バングラデシュとの外交関係樹立50周年でございますけれども、その翌年、2023年には、JICA バングラデシュ事務所の創設50周年を迎えます。JICA は全世界で事業を展開をしておりますけれども、その中でもバングラデシュはインドに次ぐ世界第2位の事業規模を誇っております。また、私どもの事務所は世界でというのも大げさなんですが、最大規模のスタッフで動いているところでございます。電力、運輸、保健、教育といった分野での協力、それに加えまして、最近では民間主導での成長を後押しするために、投資環境の改善、外国投資の促進、こういった取り組みにも力を入れてきているところでございます。コロナというその特殊な環境の中、いろいろ難しいところはあると思いますけれども、ポテンシャルが高いバングラデシュに対する新規投資をポストコロナにおける選択肢として、ぜひご検討いただければというふうに思っております。個人的には私2002、3、4年ぐらいにベトナム・ハノイにおりましたけれども、ちょうどその後にベトナムへの投資ブームというのが参りました。ちょうど今バングラデシュの状況というのはそれに近いような熱気と 雰囲気を感じております。また本日のウェブナーを主催されたBezaからバングラデシュの投資ポテンシャル、投資環境のご紹介ございましたけれども、その中でもBezaのワンストップサービスセンターのサービス開始はJica とBezaが二人三脚で取り組んでまいりました。まだまだ使い勝手の方は改善の余地があるというふうに考えておりますけれども、いろいろお気づきの点ありましたら、ぜひご提案、ご教示いただければと思います。それから、バングラデシュ SD レッドリミテッドの田川様からご紹介いただきました、アライハザール地区のエコノミックゾーンですけれども、こちらについても、円借款でBezaが周辺インフラを整備して、SPC の方にも出資をされています。Jica はBezaと共同しまして、アライハザールに続いて、ビルシュライでの第2の日系工業団地の開発の調査についても近々着手していく予定でございます。本日のウェビナーにつきましては、第2セッションでは個別の相談会も予定されているというふうに理解しております。今後ご参加いただきましたすべての皆様の今後の事業展開に役立つことを心より願っております。また、本当にお忙しい中、貴重なご経験を共有いただきました、バングラデシュホンダプライベートリミテッド、勝木社長、モンスターラブ、バングラデシュ、中山様に心から感謝の意を表したいというふうに思っております。本当にありがとうございました。本田様が先陣を切って二輪での生産を開始されたことは、バングラデシュにとって象徴的な意味を持つものであるというふうに本当に感じておりまして、バングラデシュの高いポテンシャルを示すものというふうに思っております。改めて本日は本ウェビナーにご参加いただきまして感謝申し上げます。ダッカにお立ち寄りの際には、ぜひ Jica バングラデシュ事務所の方にもお立ち寄りいただければと思います。改めて今日はどうもありがとうございました。Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hayakawa. Now the first part of Bangladesh Investment Seminar comes to the end. Thank you very much for your participation. Since we are behind the schedule, we will start one-to-one session at 15:30 Japanese Standard Time. So I would like to request the Japanese companies or participants who requested for one-to-one session, please check your starting time on the table shown on the screen. When going out from the webinar platform, you will be guided to the survey questions on this webinar. Thank you in advance for answering those questions. Your feedback is very important for the organizers. For those who participate in one-to-one session after this webinar, please leave this site and log on to the other web link which was sent to you. The platform for one-to-one is different, so please move to the other web link now. Each of you will be guided to the meeting room at the time scheduled to you. So for those who will start one-to-one session later, please be at the web link at least a couple of minutes before your assigned time. For those who participate in one-to-one session, the organizer will send the questions by email directly to you. So please answer in that survey questions sent by the email after the one-to-one session. One more request to the distinguished speakers and panelists for taking a collective picture of the presenters and our distinguished speakers. Please, I would like to request you all to put your camera on so that we can have a screenshot that can be helpful for our media coverage and also for our official record. So I would like to request all of our panelists and speakers to put on your camera, please. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And thank you very much again for your participation. The webinar is now closed. Thank you all.